Hey everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, this week we're going to be learning to play a lead over a chord progression that's similar to The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. This was a suggestion from my buddy Jim, so Jim, this one's for you. And I thought it was a great suggestion. Now I had to switch it up a little bit for copyright reasons. I always have to switch these things up. So played in a different tempo, different key, and I've even changed the chords around slightly, so it's different, but it's got that same kind of minor key feel that you'd feel when you listen to Thrill Is Gone. I also, for the licks used in this, there's a little bit of Albert King, there's some Eric Clapton, there's some B.B. King, there's quite a bit of influence. So I wanted to take a lot of that and kind of put my own twist on it. And so that's what you end up with in this lesson. But I'm going to show you how to play everything that I played in the intro, note for note. Now if you want to download the tablature and the MP3 jam track that you can practice along with, you're going to want to go to ActiveMelody.com and look for EP078. You'll also be able to watch the second video. So I've split this into two parts. In this video we're only going to learn the first half, but if you want to learn the second half, you're going to want to go check that out at ActiveMelody.com. You need to be a premium member to do so, but it's a very affordable membership and it's definitely worth the value. So let's go ahead and take a look at part one. Alright, so let's talk through tone real quick. Now, I am playing on a US Standard Stratocaster. And I actually changed the pickups in this guitar. So these are Texas Special pickups, which have a different polarity and give you some different tones. But I like to play in this with the pickup selector switch here, which is right in between these two pickups. And so that's what I was doing in the intro, between the bass and the middle pickup. And it gives you a kind of a nice glassy sound. So it's just, you don't have to do it obviously, but that's the tone that I like. And then I'm using a Boss BD2 blues driver pedal, and I have the overdrive at about 15%, maybe 20%. So kind of minimal overdrive, just to have it break up a little bit. And that's the tone. So it's pretty simple. There's a little reverb on the amp, but so that's how that's set up. Now, the chord structure real quick, let me talk through that. It's played just an A minor, and right there it went to a D minor, back to the A minor. And then the other chords it goes to an E minor chord, I'm just playing it up here, and then I walked it straight down. So that goes from an E minor to a D sharp minor, to a D minor, and then back to the A minor. And then at the turnaround chord, I played an E7th, and I played it here. Now you can play an E7 down here as well, but that's how I did it when I was playing the rhythm guitar track. So, pretty simple setup. Not exactly the same as Thrill Is Gone, but it gives you that same kind of vibe. So, so that's the chord structure. Now, let's talk through the boundaries real quick of where we're going to play this lead part. Since we're playing in the key of A, or the song's in A minor, we're going to play the A minor pentatonic scale. And so, to find where the A minor pentatonic scale is, I always, have to find that root fret. And the way that I find the root fret is to find if we were playing a bar chord. So if we're playing an A bar chord, there's an A major bar chord. If you remove your middle finger, you have the A minor bar chord. So wherever that bar is where your root fret is. Well, it's just the same for A minor pentatonic scale. You play that same A minor pentatonic scale for something in the key of A minor as you would if it were in the key of A. Either way, you're going to get kind of a bluesy feel. So then our pattern 1, A minor pentatonic scale, is right here. So there's your root fret where all those notes are going. So that's kind of home base. Alright, so this first lick we play, you can see it's bouncing back and forth between the 5th and 7th fret, and that's because it's right in line with that pattern 1. See those notes in pattern 1? So that's where that's coming from. So at least we can start to visualize where our boundaries are with this. Alright, so here's how I play it. I start here on the 4th string, 5th fret with my ring finger, and then as soon as I play that note, I slide up to the 7th fret, like that. Then I'm going to come up here with my pointer finger and play string 3 on the 5th fret, And then I'm going to come back and play the 7th fret 4th string, but this time I'm going to bar. When I push down, I'm going to bar. And the reason I'm going to bar is because I'm going to play strings 4, 3, and 4 again, all in the 7th fret, like that. Here's how it sounds together. And you can see what my hand is doing. Pretty simple. Simple motion. It's just kind of going back and forth between your pointer finger and your ring finger, which line up perfectly with those 2 frets. And then to end it, I went, and that's just playing between the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 3rd string. And I did a hammer on there, which means I pick it, hammer on, and then I played that note with some vibrato. Now try and get it fluid. You know, if tempo is an issue, just forget the tempo in the beginning. Just try. You want it to kind of, each of the notes to sort of flow together. So that's how I'm playing that first lick. The picking is just alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up, except for the little hammer on. Right there. Alright, so the next lick that I played was something like this. Now, that sounds fast, and it actually is from a tempo perspective, but it's actually really easy to do because it's a series of hammer-ons and pull-offs with the left hand. So the right hand, if you watch what the right hand is doing, just picking a few notes. The left hand is doing most of the work on that. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to start by barring the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pick string 3. And as soon as I do, I hammer on with my ring finger to the 7th fret, 3rd string. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and do an upstroke by picking string 2, which is also played on the 5th fret, part of that bar. So those are the first 3 notes of that. Then after that, the next 3 notes are, and for that I'm going to keep that bar in place. That doesn't really move. I'm going to come up here to the 7th fret 3rd string and I'm going to play, this is a downstroke with my right hand. That's a pull off. You can see as I pull my finger off, I kind of flick the string. And see what happens after that pull off is I come up here and I do a hammer onto the 7th fret 4th string. Now notice this stays barred the whole time. And so all that's really moving is this finger. It's kind of going like this, back and forth between these 2 frets, or between these 2 strings. So, alright, so let's back up. The first thing. Now after that, watch this. Let me do it slower. So after I do that hammer on to the 7th fret 4th string, I'll go ahead and flatten that so that I can bar, because what I'm trying to hit is the 3rd string also on the 7th fret. That's my next note. So just like that. So it's the string just above it. Back to the 5th fret 3rd string, and then back to the 7th fret 4th string. And that's how it sounds when you play it kind of slightly up to tempo. And I think to kind of round it off, I just sort of, and this happens kind of almost accidentally, but my finger, it's sort of like if you're singing and your voice is trailing. As it trails, it will hit the notes in the key. And that's what your fingers end up doing when you get really comfortable with it. But I came down and played the 5th fret 4th string and just kind of let that trail off. Like that. Okay, so that's those two legs, the first two legs. Then the next note is slid up to this note. Now let's look at where we're at from a position. So we slide here from the 7th fret up to the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and I give it some vibrato. Now the vibrato is another whole lesson in and of itself, but the way that I do it is up and down. So I'm hinging here with the elbow. But a lot of people play it with their wrist like this. Like so, B.B. King, for example, he would play it more like this. I think he uses this finger, and I don't know how he does that really. I've never been able to have as much control with my wrist, so I go up and down. So it's really just whatever you're most comfortable with. So that's the vibrato. Now what I'm doing, again, I'm starting on the 3rd string, sliding from 7th fret to the 9th fret. And so if you're wondering where we're at when we slide up here, well, that's the bottom of pattern 2. So pattern 2 looks like this. And that's where we're sliding into. So it's kind of cool if you think of it. You could slide. It's a quick way to slide into pattern 2, and from there you can do, little runs in pattern 2, and then you can work your way back down to pattern 1. So once you start learning how to transition from a pattern to a pattern, it kind of opens up a lot of possibilities for your playing. All right, so that's the next thing. Is and I hold that for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go right into that 4th leg. So that lick 3 is just that one note. And then we go. Now, let's talk through lick 4 here, and then I'll go back and I'll try and piece them all together. All right, so the way that lick 4 starts is it starts with a pre-bend. It's considered a pre-bend release. So it goes. And what I'm doing there is I'm starting on the 7th fret, and I use my ring finger for this. 7th fret, 3rd string. I go ahead and push it up before I even hit the note, so that when I do play it, I can release it right away. As opposed to going like this. You can just start it in position. And it's not a full bend. You're not going. It's kind of a half bend. Then I come down to the 5th fret on the 3rd string. Then I'm back to the 7th fret, 3rd string. So that's how I'm starting it. Then I went like this. And for that, all I'm doing is I'm bouncing again back and forth between the 5th fret and the 7th fret. But I'm starting on the 5th fret, 3rd string. Then I come down to the 7th fret, and again I'm barring. So this time and we've already done this, because I'm going to bounce back and forth between the 4th string, 3rd string, and 4th string again on the 7th fret. So you can go. So we start it here. We play that, and then we come back to the 5th fret, 3rd string. We do a hammer onto the 7th fret like this. So let me play all of that together. There's your little leg. All right, so let's put those two pieces together. So remember we started with the pre-bend release. Just play that until you get it drilled into your head. Now back up and we'll add that slide-in note to it. So we have. It's really nice when it goes together. Now when you have the jam track, I know what some of you will struggle with. Most of you will struggle with not necessarily the notes or the mechanics of the notes. It'll be the timing. That's where you'll have the most difficulty. And the first thing you would want to do is just listen to. I've got two versions of the MP3, so listen to the version of just me playing it. Don't try and do it on your own until you get comfortable or familiar with the timing of the whole thing, and then try and play along with me. And then once you get where you can do that, then play the version of the jam track that doesn't have the lead part, so that you're doing all of it. That's really kind of how you want to think of practicing this. All right, so from the beginning we have, you'll hear my foot counting or tapping. I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to tap my foot and then play. So we have 1, 2. All right, so the next lick we're going to play goes like this. And this one is a easy one to play because it's very intuitive. It's easy to visualize where you are in the pattern. And so you're going to want to start this one with your ring finger on the 3rd string, 7th fret. And we're going to slide up, and you'll see why the ring finger. We're going to start there, and we're going to slide up to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. Just like that. So the timing goes da-da. Okay, then the next thing you're going to do is take your middle finger and push down on the 8th fret 2nd string. So you got that note. Now let me talk about where we're at here. This is cool because you'll be able to use this throughout your playing. So again, here's pattern 1. And by the way, if you're wondering what the heck a pattern 1, pattern 2, and all this is that I keep referring to, it's all in the blues lead course. I explained there's 5 patterns, and we go through the parameters of those. But that's what I'm referring to. That's available at activemelody.com. So anyway, so pattern 1 is here, right? Pattern 2 is here. So when we do this, you can see we're sliding up to pattern 2. That's the two notes in pattern 2. But then once I slide back down, I'm back down to pattern 1. So what you're doing is you're going back and forth between pattern 2 and 1. Now it sounds seamless to, obviously to the listener's ear, but that's what you're doing from a technical standpoint. But what's nice about this is you can use this all the time. In fact, you can play those 2 notes over. And you'll hear blues guys doing that, and that's where they're getting that lick from. So we're playing that, we're just picking it apart like this. So anyway, that's what that is. After you play those 2 notes, we're going to slide back down to the 7th fret 3rd string, then down to the 5th fret 3rd string. So now we're going to come down to the 7th fret 4th string, 5th fret 4th string. Let's put those 2 pieces together. Now watch this. Then we're going to go. And for that, we ended here on the 5th fret 4th string. We're going to come up and play the 5th fret 3rd string. And the way I do it is I kind of do a bar here with my pointer finger. See how I played 4, string 4, and then string 3 on the 5th fret. Then we're going to come to play the 7th fret 3rd string. Then we're going to slide up to the 9th fret on the 3rd string. So we kind of went from here down, and then we're going back up. We're just switching strings. Actually, we're not even switching strings. I didn't realize. We're playing most of that on the 3rd string. Just kind of starting here, going down, coming back. All right, so. And then after you slide up to here, to the 9th fret 3rd string, you're going to come down and play you put your pointer finger on the 5th fret 3rd string and play. So that's string 3 on the 5th fret, and then string 4 on the 7th fret. And you play them quickly together. That's Albert King. Notice what the right hand's doing. It's just alternate picking. Oops, I missed a note. All right. Let's back up and we'll play everything up to that point. Oh, there's another little... I did that little slide again. That's from the 5th fret 4th string. You can tag that on if you want. That's how I think I did that in the intro. And then I kind of did another little tag over the lick and went, just to kind of re-emphasize it while we're waiting for the next part. And that's just doing a bend and release, starting here on the 7th fret 3rd string. Slight bend, slight release. 7th fret 3rd string, 5th fret 3rd string, 7th fret 4th string. So you have two ways you can do it. You can pick each note. You can go pick, 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 or you can go pick and do the bend and release. Pick, pick. I think that's how I did it. Okay. Okay, then I played this little, and I think of that as kind of that's actually more of a Freddie King. Like, we're covering all the Kings in this. So let's talk about what's going on there. That fits really nicely over that E minor chord once the song switches to the E chord. It's a little bit bluesy, a little bit jazzy. But we're starting here on the 8th fret 2nd string, and I'm using my ring finger for that. And then we're coming down to the 5th fret 2nd string. Those are the first two notes. And just keep in mind where we're at. Visualize that minor pentatonic scale pattern 1. So those two notes are right out of the minor pentatonic scale pattern 1 for key of A. Now, then we come up here and play this note, which is not in the minor pentatonic scale, but it is in the minor scale. But that's a whole other... I don't want to digress too much, but you're just going to have to trust me when you're playing in a minor song like this. You can actually use this note, which works well. And what I'm doing is I'm playing my my middle finger on the 7th fret 1st string. So when we're playing a minor key in the key of A, that note works. Then I come down and play the 5th fret 1st string. Then we're back to the 8th fret 2nd string, back to the 5th fret 2nd string. So if we did them all together, and then I did this little, watch this, I pick it once. So I pick it, slide it, pull off. So pick it, slide it, pull off, hammer on. And all that happens, so it goes, happens on the 3rd string. It starts on the 8th fret, 3rd string 8th fret, 7th fret, pull off, which is technically, since I'm barring, oh, that's the other thing. Make sure you're barring here on the 5th fret, the first 3 strings. And then you do a hammer on to the 7th fret, 3rd string. So let me back up and play that whole lick slowly. We have... Let me do it again. Okay, so the next thing that I played was this series of... And again, that's those two notes that I showed you, sliding right into that pattern 2. Elmore James, or however you want to think of it. That's all I'm doing. And remember, when you do those licks, it's always best to use these two fingers. Don't use your pointer finger, because it keeps you in position to come down and play something in pattern 1. So that's just how I like to think of it. I like to usually always use my ring finger and my middle finger. So again, my ring finger is on the 9th fret 3rd string, and my middle finger is on the 8th fret 2nd string. And I'm just picking strings 3 and 2. So it's 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Now each time I pick it, I slide it too. Watch this. Watch my right hand. I'm sorry, watch my left hand. You can watch my right hand too if you want. So each time I kind of reset it by sliding everything down one set of frets. But I keep these two guys locked in position so I can just slide right into it. That's the notes I'm trying to play. So I'm just sliding into it. Whoops. Just like that. And so that's what we played before it. And I did 4 of them. And the timing of it goes 1. Let me do it again. So you can kind of feel the stagger effect that's happening there. And then I went, came down, and for that I'm just grabbing my ring finger here on the 8th fret 3rd string, sliding right down to the 7th fret 3rd string, 5th fret 3rd string. That's nice when you can grab this blue note here. And that's, by the way, this note is the blue note, so that's the one difference. So when we're playing the minor pentatonic scale, that note doesn't exist in the minor pentatonic scale, but if I slide up to this note, you can add that note in, and it's called the blue note, and it allows you to get that real bluesy thing, and that's what makes the minor pentatonic scale really turn to the blues scale, is by adding that one note. Okay, so we have so we've learned that. Now we're going to come back to the 7th fret 3rd string, back to the 5th fret 3rd string. That time I push it slightly sharp. It's a subtle thing. Hear it? And then the final note's the 7th fret 4th string. Hear how just that little slight push of that note, pushing it sharp, it's subtle, but it really does make your playing. As opposed to, it just sounds a little bit flat to me versus that. And I think it's worth taking the time to work in those little subtleties like that. Alright, so let's back up and I'll play it from here. And then the final run goes. So we'll learn that. Now you've already learned part of that. You've already learned this part. That was how I did that in the beginning, remember? So we've already learned that, but let's just cover it real quick. So that's where we bar the first 3 strings on the 5th fret, and we're going to play, do the little hammer on there between the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 3rd string, and then play string 2 on the 5th fret. There's the first 3 notes. Then we're going to play these 3 notes, so that's going to be the pull-off rather between the 7th fret and the 5th fret. There's your pull-off. Then a hammer onto the 7th fret 4th string. So all together we have. Now after that, then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to bar on the 7th fret so that I can play string 3 at. So we just played string 4, right? Now I'm going to play string 3 also on the 7th fret. So then we're going to come down and play string 3 on the 5th fret. And then we're going to come down and play string 4 on the 7th fret. String 4 on the 5th fret. Right, let's back that up. We have. Do it again. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now watch this. Since I'm barred here already, you can see what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump up and play the 3rd string also on the 5th fret. So the last note we just played was the 4th string. Now we're going to play the 3rd string. Then we're going to come down and play the 7th fret 4th string, 5th fret 4th string, 7th fret 5th string. So and that's what it sounds like all together. And that's a great little turnaround lick. So you may want to use that lick. You may want to remember that one if you're ever at that point of doing a turnaround. And that actually gives you time to come in and play the chord. If you wanted to as well. But let's go, let me back up. I'll play through slowly, everything up to that point. So, and I'm going to tap my foot too so you can have something to hear the timing. 1, 2. And that is the first half.